Let's get more and speak to Yusuf Alabarda, who is a defence and security analyst, joining me now live from Ankara. Yusuf, many thanks for joining us and for your time this morning. Now, we know that in Istanbul alone, there were 50,000 police officers on the streets preparing for an eventuality like this, some sort of terrorist attack. But this was a soft target, and it seems there was nothing that could be done about it. I mean, what are the options left for the Turkish authorities?
You know, in fighting with terrorism, the most important parameter is the intelligence. So if you do not have enough intelligence, success is not guaranteed. And a state of emergency has been declared in Turkey after the 15 July coup attempts. Since from them, Turkey is very high alert in all the cities for fighting against terrorist activities. But when you miss someone with a long-barreled weapon, such in the case of the New Year's Eve, sometimes you have nothing to do. You cannot put 10 or 15 policemen in every bar, in every club, in a city which hosts more than 17 million people. So we know also those kind of terrorist attacks is also taking place on the streets of Berlin, on the streets of Paris, on the streets of London, in many places. The only chance that you should have that you can fight with such kind of terrorist attacks is with a holistic approach who is collaborating with you for all the fields. I mean, your surrounding countries, especially Europe. And the second one is the intelligence.
I realize it's difficult to counter a soft target like this, but Turkey has faced more terror attacks than perhaps other countries in Europe and the rest of the world. Do you think the security services, the Turkish government, is actually able to deal with this threat, this three-pronged threat that Turkey is facing from so many sides?
Turkey has faced more terrorist attacks when you compare it, especially with the European countries, because Turkey is sharing a border with Syria and with Iraq and very close to the problematic areas of the Middle East. And that is one of the most important things. And Turkey has an open door policy to all the Syrian refugees. So they might infiltrate inside the country when you have an open door policy. And you have no option because there is a tragedy which is going on in Syria, and you should open your doors. And when you open the doors, you have new challenges in terms of security and terrorist attacks. And the second reason that the European countries is far from this problematic area when you compare them with the Turkey. And the third one, that Turkey is fighting at the same time with more than 3 or 4 more terrorist organizations. And some of these terrorist organizations are not considered as terrorist organizations inside the European Union, such as the PKK facilities, PYD facilities, which is keeping on the streets of Brussels and in many capital cities of the EU. That is also another challenge that Turkey is facing in fighting for terrorist organizations. The third one that we might say that Turkey is fighting against Daesh alone in the Syria, although there is an anti-Daesh coalition which is currently keeping their activities, but you cannot see them on the ground who is fighting with Daesh, such as in the case of the Turkey. That is the third challenges that Turkey is facing when you compare them with the European countries.
Okay, Hassan, Yusuf Alabarda, I appreciate your time. Yusuf, defence and security analyst, joining us there live from Ankara.